Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for breaking news from the Telegraph. I can't believe it. I was recording or doing my watch along for the Sevilla versus Roma Europa League final watch along, and then next thing you know, boom, explosion, kaboom. Telegraph, Mason Mount exclusive, has agreed personal terms with Manchester United. Now this is key because, like I said in my The Truth of Mason Mount's contract video yesterday, he had a situation previously that backdates before the World Cup where him and his agent, his father, had agreed a contract with Chelsea in terms of they had it set in stone, image rights were agreed, the fee in terms of wages and everything was kind of aligned and sorted under Todd Bowie and Egbali. And then of course, the recruitment team that came in, the change of staff and the changing of who dealt with contracts in terms of Win Stanley and others coming in as well, when that recruitment team and that kind of staff was kind of completed, they took over negotiations and suddenly the offer wasn't on the table, and then different offers started to come up with 1 year and, you know, certain things changed. And that has made a mess of a situation where Mason Mount is now on the peripherals of moving to Manchester United. Now we have to just debug and just debone all of this chicken because it's just, there's loads of food here, and I'm not even liking it too much. Like I said, Man United fans are reacting to this as they do. Chelsea fans are reacting to this as they do. I still believe Mason Mount has potential. I know he's 24, but like I said, most of the seasons he's played at Chelsea, I've seen a very good player, depending on the season. Now, for him to go to Manchester United is a shock to my system, because if I had put him in another team, I would have said Liverpool makes a lot of sense. Midfield free, rock and roll, transitional, back and forth, box to box, makes sense. Left side midfield free for a Klopp. Perfect sense. And Liverpool had done the groundwork. They had done some work behind the scenes on Mason Mount and in terms of personal terms. But now Man United have leapfrogged them completely. And it seems like this is such a Ten Hag signing. This is such a Ten Hag driven move where they want him to play as one of their eights. Maybe if they're going to go to a three-man midfield with Casemiro as an anchor, they're going to use Mason Mount as one of their eights, or potentially competing alongside with, you know, Bruno Fernandes. But most likely it seems as one of their eights, because I think they'll probably start the both of them together. And have them maybe quite high up in between the half spaces. I'm just blown away that the personal terms have actually been agreed. Like, I think the thing is with Mason Mount is that we've all known that he's on his way out, and we've all known that it's likely, more likely he'll leave than he'll stay. But to actually see breaking news personal terms for our academy player that has been performing for our club, that has won Player of the Year twice. Whether or not you agree with the second one, I personally would say only the first one is justified. But second one, still a great season in terms of output. Maybe a bit of a regression in terms of the overall footballer, but even still, this is a player that has made memories at this club. This is a player that has made serious moves at this club. Let's be real. You know, I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but if we have to stand back for someone that didn't cost anything, that was on 80k a week, if you to actually put perspective on it, he put the work in. He put the work in, and he put in the performances, whether that's that turn at Porto, you know, that assist against Real Madrid, against Manchester City, in the final, the goal against Real Madrid in the second leg. This guy's put moments on the table for Chelsea. Premier League wise, the last, you know, day of the season against Wolves, getting us into the top four in the first season. You know, we go on to the Liverpool, the goal at Anfield. So many moments. He's been captain quite a few times on many occasions. And for him to be going to Manchester United is insane. It's something that you would see on FIFA. Some of the transfers this summer won't make any sense. They won't logically make any sense. You'll be flabbergasted, gobsmacked. And although I don't think he's the perfect fit for United, but listen, Ten Hag, what we've seen and what he maybe plans to do may be two different things. So what we're judging off the Man United team currently and what we could see next season could be polar opposites. Maybe as he gets more players in that he wants, you'll start to see the plan. But he is a player that is loved by a lot of managers, and it's been very clear his time at Chelsea. He's played consistently under every single manager. They've all ranked and rated him very highly, whether that's Lampard, whether that's Thomas Tuchel playing as an inside forward, playing him as an inside forward as a front three and a 3-4-3. He's always been integral to the team. He's been overplayed, if anything. It's maybe led to the drop-off and led to the string of injuries this season. But for me personally, like I said, and I'll be putting out my keep loan sell, if you don't agree that contract and his contract runs out in 2024, you do have to cash in. You cannot let a Mason Mount go into his last year when you could potentially command 60 to 70 million for him. But I would have preferred, especially Poch, because Poch did want to keep him reportedly. I would have preferred to stay because I do think he's done enough, clearly, if you're talking about in comparison to others. He's definitely done enough to be given another opportunity next season to compete, even though it's been a poor season or poor 18 months in terms of development, stagnation. But under the right coach, and this is the key, we've seen Ten Hag revive Rashford. We've seen Ten Hag revive Wan-Bissaka. We've seen Ten Hag revive multiple players in that Manchester United squad that looked like they were done, looked like they were finished. Mason Mount goes into that category of his stocks being incredibly low. A lot of people are screaming, umming and ahhing. They don't want him. They don't see why they take him. Even Liverpool fans, I was trying to debate it, and I was saying, listen, I know this guy is not looking good recently, but with the right manager and the right system, he will, I think, be back to his former self. For us, what does this mean? I mean, this just adds to the long list of outgoings for today. We've had Mason Mount now, who's agreed personal terms with Manchester United. I'm very interested to see how much money they're going to pay. He's only got 1 year left, but we are looking for about 70 million. 60 million would maybe be the mid-range. I wouldn't really want to accept any less than 60 million. I'm not going to lie to you. Personally, as a Chelsea fan, selling to Manchester United, I would want minimum 60 million. 60 million. Now, will it be over installments? I don't know. We'll have to see what the fee is that they'll agree, because clearly Manchester United, one thing I'm taking from this breaking news, which is why it is so big and so important, is that Manchester United's interest is now concrete and confirmed. Mason Mount's interest in going to Manchester United is now concrete, confirmed. Now that they've agreed personal terms, there is no confusion. There is no confusion whatsoever about these two wanting to form marriage, to form alliance. I mean, but yeah, how much will it cost? We'll have to see. But Manchester United are known for paying big for players. They have paid big before, and I know they are financially worse for wear. Last January window, they only bought in Sabitzer and Weghorst on loan. The summer before, they did spend a decent amount. There is a takeover situation going on. Don't know what the update is on that. So how much money can Man United really afford to put up? I don't know. But you better put up something. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we ain't friends. We rivals. So you better put up that serious, cold, hard cash. I'm not trying to see no foolishness from you lot. Don't pretend you're broke now. Listen, you might actually be broke this time. It's like the boy that cried wolf. Yeah? You might actually be broke. But we ain't trying to hear that over here on the south side of London. You better pull up with that serious money. You better come with money in the bank. Do you know what I'm saying? You better come with a briefcase like WWE. You better come with the money. Money bags. Floyd Money Mayweather better turn up with the P's, because if you man think you're going to rip us off, if you dare rip us off, I'll be coming for the owner. Do not sell one of your most prized assets in an FFP situation where you're trying to bring in money. Do not sell one of your prized assets for any less than that 60. 55, I'm not going to blow it. But if you go below 50, whew, I don't know. We be getting robbed in the market and everybody else be eating. Now, like I've said, what does this do for us in the future in terms of the 10 position next season? Because obviously, if we're playing a 4-2-3, we know Felix is off the table. We know now Mason Mount is probably now off the table. This all steers toward Kai Havertz being the second choice number 10 behind Nkunku next season. I don't think there's a situation where we're going to lose Gallagher, Felix, Mount, and Kai Havertz all in the same window. When Nkunku comes in as the first choice, someone's got to back him up. Will it be Carney? Maybe. But I still think losing all those four would be a surprise. I wouldn't be against it because, listen, I would have preferred a Felix loan. If you're losing Mason Mount, my next option would have been a Felix loan, 100%, over Kai Havertz. I think Felix is a combination of potentially giving you output in terms of goal scoring, giving you maybe 10 goals in that position. And then on top of that, he plays like a 10. Whereas Havertz hasn't really given you the output, but he plays like a 10, I guess, with the luxury, nonchalant factor. And Mason Mount, you really wouldn't want to build your team around him as a 10. I don't think he's a 10, but he does give you output. And Poch does want him. And Poch doesn't want Felix. So it's a mess. And also today, Kovacic as well. Kovacic seems like he's having a concrete move made from Man City. Man City are making concrete moves for Mateo Kovacic. It seems like that one's moving forward as well. Again, there's been a lot of hysteria, a lot of outbreak on the TL about that one. But if you want new midfielders, if you want a midfield rebuild, you have to be able to stomach players exiting. You have to be able to make a space for them. And Kova has been massively, injury prone, loads of injuries this season. Fans have been complaining about playing players that don't want to be here, playing players that don't, care for the badge or don't put in the commitment, the work rate. Let's be honest, Kova's down tools this season. He hasn't been asked. Now, understandably so, he's in his prime, and we've been moving a bit on a madness with managers and all of the circus that's been going on around the club. So I'm not surprised that he's been a bit disillusioned since the Tuchel sacking. But he's got 1 year left on his contract. He wants to leave, so you have to get money for him. You can't keep a player that's got 1 year left and let them go into their final year disillusioned, whilst potentially then not doing the rebuild in midfield that you could have done by bringing in some of the array of midfielders that are out there that are younger, that are going to be setting you for the next decade, like Caicedo. Make room for the players that are going to be here for a longer period of time, that are going to be snapped up by other clubs if you don't get them, and that are going to actually transform and probably improve your midfield. Because we know that Kova next to Enzo is not going to work. He's not a sitting midfielder. So you're going to basically have him as a rotational piece. And because he's injury prone, you're definitely going to have him as a rotational piece. So as much as I rate Kova, I've been trying to tell people Kova's a top player for ages. I think most of the outrage is coming because he's going to Manchester City. I think a lot of people had him to sell this season anyway. But because it's Man City now, people are freaking out. If it was Bayern Munich and Tuchel wanted him, no bat an eyelid. How much are you going to pay? Fantastic, good business, great servant, wish you on your merry way. Because it's Man City and it's Pep, people are starting to lose their minds. At the end of the day, we need to focus on what we need to do, all right? He's probably going to go into that Man City team as a rotational piece as well. He is injury prone. If he fixes that miraculously, then hey, what can you do? But for us this season, and for many seasons now, he has been injury prone. We do need to rebuild. We do need a new sitter. We do want a Caicedo. We have an Enzo. We do have Andre Santos, who just scored in the Under-20 World Cup. We do have Carney. We do have Under-20, captain of Italy. We do have players that we want to see, right? So give them chances. So make room. If you don't make room, then don't complain if managers don't use them. So for me, I'm thinking the long game. I'm thinking Poch. Poch has not clearly made it his preference to keep Kova as well. He's very happy to part ways with Kova. He hasn't said that Kova has to stay. Kova doesn't want to stay. For me, I'm not begging anybody to be at this club, even though I rate them. If you don't want to be here, I'm not begging you, because we're Chelsea. There's alternatives. There's loads of midfielders on the market. Better to complain at the end of the window if you're not happy than at the very beginning when you wanted to clear out, you wanted a rebuild, you wanted sales. You're now getting sales. Don't complain about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, for me, I'm happy enough with that. Fair enough, cool. Get the money in. We keep it moving again. So we're losing a lot of midfielders, right? Loftus-Cheek, AC Milan, Kova to Manchester City, Mason Mount to Manchester United. Kante, the renewal, we're still waiting on that contract. Doesn't look like it's going to be renewed because obviously the new injury is now kind of raising some red flags, and rightly so. I've been saying it for years. Kante does not play often enough. He is very, very injury prone. And it's great to have him around if he can play a significant amount of games, but play 6-7 games this season is not enough, and injured again. So is he worth paying? Is he worth the wage? I don't think he is. So again, you have to look at him. Can you get some money for him potentially? You can't. His contract's literally running out. What's the point of renewing it? So there's a lot going on, guys. It's a mess, but it's a frantic yard sale that I did call for, and we do need to clear. So at least with these midfielders going, we're absolutely definitely bringing midfielders in, and FFP, we ain't gonna have no problems with all of these players leaving. Aubameyang's been loose links to Galatasaray. Can't confirm the source, but it's there. Icardi did have a big season for Galatasaray, so I'm not really sure how that would even work. And yeah, I think that's about it. It's been a busy day of news, but long story short, not happy that Mason Mount didn't re-sign, wanted him to stay, but not going to cry about it. We will move, we will live. Like I said consistently on this channel, I've seen better players, I've seen bigger players leave. We will move on and we will replace. And as long as we replace correctly, then we'll be fine. When we lost Matic, it's not that we sold Matic, because we sold Matic at the right time. It's the fact that we did not replace Matic with the player that became to be a world-class player, with Bakayoko, who ended up looking like Stormzy on Soccer AM against Watford. So it was a long day. And the same applies to Diego Costa coming in with Morata. Diego Costa wanted to leave. He said it many a time. He wanted to go to China. He wanted to disrupt our whole title run. As much as we loved him, he was disturbing the environment. We were going to get rid. Is who we replace. Morata was a poor replacement in the end. That's why we're angry. So as long as we replace players that are going to leave, don't want to be here correctly, we will be fine. We'll move on. Football keeps moving. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Crazy, crazy breaking news. We'll be looking out for that bid. We'll be looking out for the bid for Man City with Kova. Be looking, because personal terms will get agreed there, no problem. Waiting for the bid from Man United for Mason Mount. Personal terms done. Waiting for the bid for Loftus-Cheek to be, well, we'll see what's going on there. And Kante as well. Crazy. Guys, smash up the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.